What's good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're watching this, you've probably seen those beautiful ranked skins and are trying to get your hands on them. And so today, I'm going to give you all the secrets on how you too can unlock the skins at any rank. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I placed top 50 in the most recent Unreal Cup, what kind of drop spots I use, how to get kills in the mid game, and how to actually survive the end game when it's stacked. Let's get into it. The first thing you need to understand is you do not need to be Peterbot to earn these skins. Placement in this style of tournament is free. If you die early, it isn't the end of the world, but it can derail a tournament when every point matters. So you should be focused on these goals. Make it to late game, every game. Take smart, free, low risk fights and play every game with a goal. For example, if you're at 60 points, your goal should be to get to 100 points. Once you lock in these ideas, then the rest becomes way easier, and that's how I did it on my live stream. Now we're going to go over probably the most important part of the entire cup, which is finding a drop spot, and in this case, finding a quiet drop spot. You want to make sure your drop spot checks these three boxes: low contest, lots of metal, and good nearby rotations / loot paths. Alright, you do not need to land somewhere super popular to get these skins. I would recommend avoiding major name locations, super popular unnamed locations like they're all over TikTok or YouTube, and anywhere that you'll be stuck for rotations and max. Instead, you can look for small compounds, places with a ton of shield, barrels, mushrooms, even a slurp truck nearby, or split POIs where players mostly only loot one side. If you are consistently have 1 or 0 players landing with you, you're probably doing it right. Second most important thing about your drop spot is how much metal is available. Metal is everything when it comes to the late game. When I was leaving my drop spot, I'm always asking myself, am I leaving here with 400 to 500 metal? If not, you can look for cars, fences, or any industrial buildings nearby. These are always packed with metal. If your drop has metal but low wood, don't worry, there's plenty of it to go around. Alright, so the last part of finding your drop spot should be the rotations that are available nearby. Your drop spot should be close to teleporters, like the underground teleporters around the map, maybe a launch pad because there are 20 of them scattered around the Chapter 7 map, or any natural high points nearby that can make rotations easier with your wingsuit. You don't want to burn all your mats just to rotate the first zone, so you should always be able to use one charge of your wingsuit to get into the next zone. You don't also have to be the first person to rotate every game. If you have chosen a spot that follows this guide, you should be able to relax, sit back as everyone else struggles to rotate. Take your time, farm up your hard mats, then when the time is right, make a safe and smart rotation. Alright, now let's talk about the early game. Early game is simple. You just loot, farm, and relax. You don't need to chase kills, you don't need to ego check random kids, and you don't need to push anyone unless it's completely free. If someone runs away from your drop, let them go, they're scared. You win this cup by being alive at moving zones, not by getting 1 or 2 early kills. Once you've looted and have max metal, scout over your rotate. See a nearby fight? That's your sign to get moving to the zone before that fight is over, and you can get set up in your next spot. Your early game doesn't have to be too complex. You just need to make it to the end game, and that should be your #1 focus. Making it to the end game with your wingsuit, good enough loot, and most importantly, a ton of hard mats. Okay, now we're into the mid game. I'm going to cover how to get free mid game kills. I know I've said multiple times that kills aren't everything, and that's very true, but they do still make an impact and are worth it depending on the situation. Some ways I got kills in this cup are watching for lobby focused players, like if players are getting absolutely fried by a bunch of people, you can easily grab a kill with a few shots, or looking for white health. If you absolutely fry someone and he's just not doing anything back, get in there, get that. That is a free kill. Now, you should probably not just take random 1v1s out in the open. That is just not worth it in this cup, not worth dying. But a few mid-game kills here and there that are absolutely free are always worth it in the end. Alright, now let's talk about your positioning going into endgame. Once you hit your 5th or even your 6th zone, you need to be prepared for endgame. At this point, placement points matter more than kills, as it'll rain in every time a player dies, meaning the difference between 20th and 50th is a 30-point game. You cannot risk dying before these heavy placements rain in. Here are some things you want going into endgame. You want as many hard mats as possible, or if not max. I always had max going into the games that I won. A wingsuit with above 6 charges if possible. These should be really easy to find as they are everywhere. And full shields and a good amount of heals, preferably medkits and big pots. I carried 3 medkits, 3 bigs the whole tournament, and it worked out just fine for me. Rotate into the 6th zone and claim a spot where you can see everything and everyone around you. You want to be maybe a mid layer where you can be in a cone and just see everything for your next rotate if anyone's getting fried, and you do not want to be the guy scrambling in last second that gets lobbied. Anywhere where you are not at immediate risk of being lobbied or pushed is the safest and smartest bet. Alright, now let's talk about how to actually play the endgame itself. The endgame of this tournament should be the easiest part if you have followed this tutorial. Endgame is always whoever makes the least amount of mistakes wins, so being smart and prepared is almost always a cheat code. First off, don't panic. Stay calm, always do the minimum. Don't waste mats or potentially waste heals. Second, find optimal layers. Always box where fewer players are. After you land with your wingsuit, move up or down depending on how many people are around you on your layers. Third, look down for refreshes. Low ground is absolutely filled with players on low health who are panicking. Don't try to 50-50 into someone's box with full health. Take the free kills onto low ground instead. If you do get a refresh, keep moving. Don't pick through their loot for every single upgrade. Grab the mats and get somewhere safe again. If you can survive the first and second moving, you're basically guaranteed grace placement. You don't need to win the game. Top 10 consistently is more than enough for the skins. So yeah, that's a step-by-step guide on how I play the Unreal Ranked Cup. I hope to see everybody rocking the skins after you unlock them in the next Ranked Cup. Thank you to everyone for watching. See ya!